What's up? It's the Dream Team. Your boys are back together again. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. It is Aaron Bruski. It is Rick Kamla. I just got like a Brady Bunch vibe, like with the screens and all of us, and it goes around. For you young folks out there, it was a sitcom back in the day that Doc Brew and I, and many others, were forced to watch because there was literally no other form of entertainment other than taking a ball in the backyard back then. But we're here to talk fantasy basketball, dial you in, and have a great time doing it. Brew, Doc, what's up, fellas?
Hey, happy Mother's Day last weekend to all the mothers out there. Hope you had a great one.
Word to your mother.
That's right. That was good, man. The basketball's good, right?
Oh my God, the basketball is so good. So you know how we layer this, guys. We got a great bit for you. Then we're going to talk playoffs. Then we're going to hit ATS and props. And then we'll get out of here. And you will be the most well-informed hoop heads in your village after taking in this great show. So let me tell you about Bet Online. They're the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season's in full swing. We're deep into the NBA and NHL playoffs at this point, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. Largest selection of odds in everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info in between games. Head over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. So our bit today, and it's going to be a series that we're going to run here, and I'm excited about this, the fantasy basketball top 12 recap. So we're going to break this down. We're going to go top 120, and we're going to do it over 10 episodes. So it'll be like a 12-team draft where you take 12 and then 12 and then 12. All right? And we'll get all the way through here, and we'll talk about literally everybody that matters in fantasy basketball. So a couple of, and by the way, this is 8 cat totals, not averages, but 8 cat totals. All right. So Wemby's not invited to this party because of that. So let's start with Nikola Jokic here, guys. Number one, he had an 8 cat ranking of 1, a 9 cat total ranking of 2. And we're looking at this a couple of ways. Does this ranking represent this player? And into next year, would you draft him at value? Would you go even higher for him, or would you fade this player? So, Brew, you first here on Nikola Jokic.
Obviously a great season. Is he this guy? Yeah, he's this guy. We've been talking about him for years. We actually talked, though, all preseason about would fantasy leagues exclude Victor Wembanyama from their player pool because he would be this historic player. That didn't happen. Jokic whooped him up. He whooped him up early, whooped him up in the middle of the year. Actually, maybe not so much in the middle of the year. Wembanyama caught him a little bit there, but mostly he just whooped him up. And this upcoming season, it's, I've got a lot of time between now and the time that I actually kind of make my pick here. But it's not looking good for Victor. And that's pretty interesting because we're not even talking about Shai yet. Shai's the next guy on this list to talk about in that regard. And I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think you're going to see a lot of split decisions. I think instead of a 4-tier system like we had, or 4-player system at the top tier that we had this last preseason, it will probably be in 3, a 3-tier top group, 3-player top tier. God damn it, I can't talk today. But Jokic, I don't see any reason he slows down. He's in the best shape that I've seen a player of his size for many years, and he's doing it right now in the playoffs. He's not performing right now in the playoffs, but he still has that athletic combination that allows him to do all of the stuff that we see him do. So I'm pretty high on Jokic heading into next season, no matter what. So yeah, things are good for him.
I think it's sad that Russell Westbrook and all his triple-double seasons have ruined the mystique of a triple-double season because Jokic had one this year. And had Westbrook not had all of those triple-double seasons that he had, this would be the number one story, one of the top stories in sports. Because when Westbrook did it that first time and averaged the triple-double, everybody was like, oh, my God, he did it. It's the first time since Oscar Robertson. You just heard so much about it. And then it just became commonplace almost. And a lot of guys in the NBA these days, because of the way the game is and the skill sets and everything, a lot of guys can get triple doubles. So it used to be a more rare thing than it is now. But the fact that, last summer I was sort of questioning myself, does Jokic really want to come back and bust his ass and work this hard to play basketball? Or does he just want to chill out on his farm with his horses and take it easy? Like, does he love basketball? And then he shows up with 29.6, 12.7, and 10.2 triple-double. Obviously, he was healthy. He was the number one pick. He should have been the number one pick. I was all in on Wemby last year. Rick, at the very beginning, you said Wemby wasn't going to be joining us at this party. He's not in the top 12, but he's on the list. Like, we're getting to him in the next, 2 or 3 shows after this. So Wemby's not completely off the docket here. And I'm with Brew. I think it's going to be, you're going to have a decision to make next year. You're going to go with Jokic, Wemby, or Shai with the number one pick. If you get the third pick, you're going to take whichever one of those guys is left. And it's too early for us to really know Wemby's status. And even if Wemby comes in the season 100% healthy, you're still going to have a question mark in your head that you don't have with Jokic. So I think on paper, and what I will probably tell people is draft Nikola Jokic number one. What I may do might be something totally different because I love drafting Wemby.
That is Steve Alexander, Aaron Bruski, and I'm Rick Kamla. So, yes, this ranking represents this player. Clearly, he's Nikola Jokic. He's the best player in the sport, and he was the best fantasy player in the sport. That all marries, and I won't belabor the point. In terms of I'm definitely not going to fade him, or you really can't go higher than number one either. So you want to get that ace, right? You want to go to Yahoo half hour before. Yes, I got the ace. I'm taking Jokic, guys. I got to give Wemby a year, and I'll make this point throughout the offseason. Whenever Wemby comes up, whenever this debate comes up, I'm giving Wemby a year. I was going to give Oscar Thompson a year. And he made it through. The minutes went up a little bit, but still there was a minutes reduction. I think the team was kid gloving him a little bit. And San Antonio historically has been way more precautious and load management than any other team in the NBA. So Pop is still there. R.C. Buford is still there. The whole family is still there. So that's probably going to continue. I have worries about Wemby heading into next year. And I assume and presume that we're going to get the Shams bomb, that he's been fully cleared and we're all going to rejoice. Wemby is back. He's going to play ball, all that kind of stuff. I'm still going to fade him in relation to Nikola Jokic. Jokic for me is the one. The guy averages a triple-double. Pretty good defensive stats, actually. Almost a block, always over a steal per game. The 3-ball game is very all over the place, but the percentages are high. Brew, I said that for you. I'm a counting numbers freak, and he's one of the best counting numbers guys in the history of the league. So I'm going Jokic over Wemby, and there's really not anything Wemby could do about it. I assume he's going to be fully cleared, and I'm still going to fade him in relation to Jokic. So, Brew, you brought up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he is next here. 8 cat per game rank of 3, 9 cat total rank of 1. So again, does this represent the player? And about next year, would you go at value, overvalue, fade, SGA? Talk to me, Brew.
It's probably going to be a small fade, but I might actually still be higher than a lot of folks. I don't know if people understand that Shai is as good as he is, even though he's like an MVP candidate. And, why that sounds maybe even a little bit crazy is I just think people put him at 3 when there was a conversation for him at 2 or 1 this last season. So I don't think people gave him the respect he deserved. And then this Oklahoma City Thunder team has so many players on it. There's going to be that kind of confusion. And I think watching the playoffs right now, people are kind of questioning whether Shai is as far out in front of his teammates as it might seem as an MVP candidate with the stats that he's putting up. My big question is Jalen Williams, actually. Jalen Williams, to me, should be a number 1 player on another team somewhere of the top 10 variety. And so that's just one of maybe 5 issues for Shai to watch. And then even the Shai possibly kind of give it away. We don't know the results of the MVP just yet. If he wins that thing, then the motivation might not be there to accumulate all of those statistics. And he might then decide, depending on how things go in the playoffs here, that he might need to get his teammates more involved, a la Donovan Mitchell. So a couple things there, but I mean, overall, how could you not love this fantasy game? I mean, 52% from the field, 90% from the foul line, 1.7 steals, a block, 2 threes, over 6 assists. I mean, it's just, when you take that many shots, you should not make that many shots. But that's Oklahoma City in a nutshell. And to bring it all kind of full circle here, it's as perfect as it gets right now for a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And yeah, it could get more perfect, I guess, with Oklahoma City, with all the assets they have. Sure, it could get more perfect, but I don't think it gets more perfect than this. So it's a small fade, but he might still be like, say, number 2 in my ranks.
So you had him number 1 last year? You're fading.
I had him.
Where's the fade, Brew? What tell me what your fade is.
I don't know. I think Wemby will probably be number 2.
Okay.
In a lot of drafts. And I'll probably
have
have Shai at 2. Right? I'll either have him at 2 or 1, despite that not so glowing review. Jokic, he needs some help. And then there's the Josh Kroenke factor and what's going on in Denver. I mean, if Denver gets really weird, really fast, that could be a reason that Nikola Jokic doesn't go number 1.
Okay. Shai's awesome. Last year, it was pretty much Wemby, Jokic, or Shai for most people. I think Shai generally was going 3rd. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same order again this year, because there's.
What about Luka, though? Luka was in there. I thought there was a big 4 coming into this year.
There may have been. I mean, I feel like, me personally, I'm a Wemby and Luka guy, so those were the 2 I was targeting. But just from a stats perspective and fantasy perspective, I thought it was, Luka has some holes in his game in areas that you don't like to talk about, Rick, like free throw percentage and turnovers and field goal percentage.
In those areas,
he's not quite at the level these guys are. And now he's in LA, so who knows? But and Luka's also banged up. Like Shai, since he was shut down for a couple seasons a while ago, Shai's been a model of health. Jokic has been a model of health. I mean, that should push those 2 guys to the top of this discussion. Man, I love Shai, and the fact that Shai is not like dominating in the playoffs, I'm okay with that. I don't care what he does in the playoffs. I want the Thunder to win, but I don't need him to be a fantasy hero in the playoffs, even though he's on my fantasy playoff team. The Oklahoma City goal right now is to win these games. Like, they don't care how they do it. Like Shai was like, if I score 8 points and we win, then we're all good. Like, let's just not get eliminated by Denver and blow this thing. So I don't really care what they're doing in the playoffs. And Brew, I'm with you, man. If Shai was not on the Thunder and it was Jalen Williams and Alex Caruso out there, Jalen Williams would look like a freaking superstar. And I've been saying that for 2 years. So they're too deep for their own good. They're too deep for fantasy. If they didn't all play together in OKC, they'd all be better fantasy players. But I like the fact that the Thunder have grown this thing from, these kids being little kids to being full-grown NBA superstars, and now they look like possible NBA champion with the possible NBA MVP. So
one more thing on. Oh, sorry, I stepped on you. One more thing on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you shoot your shot. Well, if you're not going to shoot, I'll shoot. Is the Shai played 76 games in 34 minutes a game. And the Thunder are going to be deeper next year in some way, shape, or form. They will just be deeper. They have so many players on this team that legitimately deserve minutes. My question is, if they continue to win by 10 or more per game, as they did this season and last, are they really going to be compelled to play him 76 games and 34 minutes? That's tough. That is really tough. And by the way, Jokic, he was the number one over player in just 70 games. So he kind of had a low games played kind of a season. And, if Jokic decides to crank it up to 72 or 74, heaven forbid, the distance there might actually be pretty great.
And I think they were trying to get Shai an MVP this year. So
yeah,
if, like you said in your take, if he wins the MVP, he could have a totally different mindset next year. Sort of like when Rory McIlroy won the Masters. Like, okay, that's off my back now. I don't have to worry about making that happen. Now I can just relax and go out and play. I mean, I could see that happening with Shai. I could also see it not happening, but it's not crazy to think if he wins the MVP, he may chill out and become more of a distributor.
Very interesting stuff, guys. Where do I want to go with this? If I have SGA in a dynasty league, I don't want OKC to win the ring because I want him to come back pissed off and on a mission and you know what I mean? With the chip on his shoulder, like not, like kind of Boston coming into this year, right? And I mean, Tatum was fantastic and, but I mean, like Boston was in cruise control all year long, right? OKC was in full tilt, go for it mode. Cleveland in full tilt, go for it mode. New York and Houston are always trying to win every minute of every game with Tibbs and Ime, right? And Boston is kind of like hummed right along and never really went too high, never went to it, just really rock solid. Well, they went 58 games in cruise control mode or whatever that was. So you would rather not have SGA all fat and happy off a chip. But I believe in SGA. I believe that he loves basketball. I believe that he wants to play 70 games. And I know that he's durable and all that. So, and they have, I don't know, man. Like, I'll just leave it at that. You don't want him to win MVP or the ring. You want him to be more motivated, like selfishly. If you're a fantasy dynasty manager and all that. Now, going to next year, I can tell you guys right now, I will not be taking Wemby over absolute lock monsters, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Nikola Jokic. I will not take Wemby over those guys because there's an unknown with Wemby. Playing time, rest, the blood clotting. God forbid it happens again. But no.
You're going to take Doey Doncic.
Yes.
You are. Okay, I wanted that out there for the record.
Yep. I will. I love the use of Doey Doncic, by the way. Like, please, every time when you're on with Doc, please play that card every time. And this is one of these decisions that is just built over time. And I don't F with injured dudes going into the year. If you're a starting pitcher and you have biceps or elbow or UCL or shoulder or upper back, you're dead to me. I'm not going there. If you're a running back coming in with a sprained MCL and they say you're going to play week 1, not on my team, you're not. So I don't, Cameron Brink in the WNBA. Love her. I'm fading her. I'm not going there. She's coming off the ACL. I want to see what it looks like. And so it's like that with Wemby. It's just my theory. It's my method. I don't go there. I got to give it a year. So I'll be taking SGA and Luka over Wemby. The debate for me is SGA or Luka. That to me is I mean, I could formulate an answer right now, but I put an asterisk and say it's subject to change because they checked some different stat set boxes for me in terms of, oh no. Oh, wait.
Are we all still alive? We're still here?
I thought I just clicked off my feed here. I got a lot of browser windows up here and I don't know what I clicked off of. I'm sorry about that, guys.
End of Lost?
All right.
What happened?
So check this out. And I want to set up Doc on this one first. Number 3 on our list here. And again, we're looking at the top 12 guys, okay? 8 cat per game ranking of 6 for James Harden. 9 cat total ranking of 5. Overall, number 3. Number 3, James Harden, okay? So Doc, because I love your nickname for Mr. Harden. But does this ranking represent this player? And then next year, are you taking him at value? Are you fading him? What are you doing with Harden?
I mean, I don't think you need to take Jimmy Harden in the top 5. It's ridiculous. and he had a great year in ACAT. Like, but he was so like I had this dude on a lot of teams. Like for some reason, I decided this was the year I was going all in on Jimmy Harden, and it worked out. But dude, it was the most inefficient great season I've ever seen anyone have. And it's right up your alley because he only shot 41%. Who cares?
Let's go.
He turned the ball over 4.3 times a game.
Again,
Who cares? He didn't even score that much. 23 points, 6 boards, 9 assists. But man, he was out there every night. He only missed 3 games. And I think that's the key to all of this. And the counting stats were huge. And it was actually kind of a fun ride. I think he's signing an extension to match Kawhi Leonard's to stay in LA with the Clippers with Kawhi. And I guess that's a good sign that he thinks Kawhi is healthy and going to be back this year. But, I'd gladly take Harden again this coming season. But I also kind of feel like that was as good as it gets. Like that, everything else is going to be downhill from now on with Jimmy Harden. Dude, the dude is going to be 36 years old in August. 36. He was born in 1989. So I'll gladly draft him next year, but not in the first round. Second round, third round, I'm in. But I don't think I'm going to use a first round pick on Harden.
I don't think James Harden makes it out of the first round. He was going at about 11, 10, 9, something like that. Maybe a little earlier in some more competitive drafts. He's going to go in that range at minimum if people kind of tap into this result here and think that it's going to be close to that. He could go in the mid first round. And that's, look, it was, to echo your point, Doc, it was as good as it gets. And there's going to be some natural degradation there. And that's probably the best case scenario. So there's not going to be a lot of profit margin there, but his game is timeless. It's not like he's blowing people off the dribble right now. He's just doing James Harden stuff, and that's going to be that. So that's my assessment without going into all the James Harden stuff.
All right. So I had a concern about James Harden that when Kawhi Leonard came back, that Harden's numbers would take a hit. Not like fall off the table, but, a little hit, down 3 points a game, down, some assists and all that kind of stuff. Guys, that did not happen. Okay, check this out. And this is pre-All-Star to post-All-Star, so it's not perfectly aligned with when Kawhi Leonard came back. But the second half of the season was all with Kawhi. Let me just give you the contrast. Pre-All-Star, Harden was at, 21.5 points. Post-All-Star, 25.2 points. You also had a Norman Powell injury in here too, okay? Rebounds were pretty static, 5.8 before, 5.7 after. Assists were static, 8.6 before, 8.9 after. The point of those numbers is James Harden's good to go. He's got the ball in his hands. Kawhi Leonard in some ways has to get in where he fits in around James Harden. James Harden's the hub of the offense. He's got the rock. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard's the heavy hitter. He's their one. Dang it. But it's kind of a co-number one with these two guys. So I don't have any worries about Norman Powell taking a bite out of Harden or Kawhi taking a bite out of Harden. Harden's going to get his numbers on this team the way Ty Lue has it set up. Now, number 3 is crazy. It's wild. It's a statistical anomaly, to be honest with you, because it's based on totals, right? So he played all these games. And so is he like a better player than, I don't know, just some of the other guys on this list, like Haliburton or Tatum, Steph Curry, guys like that? No. Okay. The stats worked out that was his ranking this year. I'm with Doc. I'm more of a second or third round guy with James Harden. But I don't anticipate a drop in numbers, guys. I don't. I think what we got last year is what we're going to continue to get, even at 36, because Harden has a grounded game. He doesn't get off the floor. He's been doughy for years, and dudes just bounce off of him. So I think that old man game that Harden has been rocking here, going back to his prime years in Houston, he's going to age gracefully. And he's got the rock in his hand. So I am not anticipating a dip for Harden. I'm also not expecting a pop. I'm expecting a lot what we got last year to this upcoming year. So that's where I'm at with Doc's guy, Jimmy.
Well, and the guy that took the hit when Kawhi came back was my guy, Norm Powell, my other guy. That's where the hit came. So whatever. Indeed,
man. Number 4 on our list here, we're looking at our top 12. It is Cam, it is Brew, it is Doc. We're the Fantasy NBA today. Is Anthony Edwards. 8 cat per game ranking of 17, 9 cat total rank of 6th. He comes in 4th on our list right here. Doc, I'll go to you again here. Does this ranking represent Ant-Man? And then going into next year, are you fading him? Would you be willing to go higher for him? Talk to me.
I don't think I'm fading him. I don't think he needs to go top 5. I think he's top 12. I took him late in the first round last year. I think most of us had him projected as a second rounder, but I just kind of thought that he was going to take over the world this year. And why that didn't actually happen, he was still pretty freaking good. He played 79 games again. His scoring went up 1.5 points. But the numbers, he didn't just blow up. And he had a lot of weird shooting nights where I felt like, I said this every time I looked at the box score, he was 7 of 17 or something. He was never really shooting it well. The overall percentage was fine, though. It was almost 45% on his field goal. So I still think James Harden has Anthony Edwards still has a long way to go. He's only 23 years old. He'll be 24 by the time we draft him. And I think there's still a chance that he just goes out and gets that killer instinct and decides he's just going to go try to dunk on everybody in the league on every possession instead of shooting 10 threes a night.
Yeah, I can't believe I get a chance to talk about Julius Randle here with Rick on the show because Rick's going to give it to me here. The first half of this season, they had to move in one of the toughest pieces to move in to a basketball team, and that's Julius Randle. And what I really like about what Julius Randle has done in the second half of the season and in the playoffs is he has morphed his game to fit that of Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards took 10 plus 3-point shots this season, and last season it was 6.7. For him to maintain his field goal percentage of just about 45%, it was 46 the year before. For him to do all of that under those circumstances is it's why he got the rank that he got. He didn't get it the way that a lot of us thought that he would get it. I think I had him number 5 in the B150, and again, in my leagues, they're roto leagues, so it's not really about per game. It's about total value. So he did all of this with the big piece moving in and Cat, of course, moving out. That theoretically would help somebody get more usage and more shots. But in comes Julius Randle, known for taking shots and usage and kind of taking the ball wherever he wants it and doing whatever he wants with it. That first half of the season was exactly great. The places I had Anthony Edwards, I was very upset about it, lack of a better term. Then in the second half of the season, he turns it on. He accumulates the rank that we kind of thought he would get. So I think it was a great season for him, and I don't think this is his ceiling. He's got other levels to this thing. I just think this season he saw so many people in the paint. He plays with Rudy Gobert. That's also not easy. So if he can get a couple other ingredients here, I think he's got another gear. I don't know where he'll get drafted, though. I don't know if people appreciate that he had the number 4 overall rank in 8 cat. I think they kind of feel like the per game ranking is more representative of where he sits in a draft. So maybe he goes in the second round. Who knows?
If he, bunch of great points by you guys. If he goes to the second round, he'd be the first or second pick. Right. In a scenario like that. I'm with Doc. I look at him and Brew, I think you're on the same page, like back half of the first round. Because to me, it starts after Jokic, Wemby, Luka, and SGA. I still think that's a 4-pack stack at the top here. And then it's like, okay, who's at number 5? Is it Anthony Davis? Is it Giannis? Is it Edwards? Is it Steph? Is it Hallie? Is it Tatum? Then you start getting into all that. I threw Tatum in there for Dr. A. I knew he would love that.
I love it. I love it when I have like the 10th or 11th pick and somebody takes Tatum right in front of me. That's my favorite.
And leaves you Trae Young with the next pick.
And leaves me James Harden and Anthony Edwards on the turn. Yeah.
There you go. Your boy Jimmy Harden. Brew, excellent point with they're still ceiling with this guy. All right, like I thought, and boy, I wrote this article so long ago, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I had Anthony Edwards in my pop player article, thinking he was going to go to like 28, 29, 30. I mean, there's a little pop here, 25.9 up to 27.6. I feel like there's another pop here, though. Like, Ant-Man has always struck me as a 30-point-per-game guy. Like, not every year, but, like, can hit it. Like, Carmelo Anthony wasn't 30 points every year, but he hit it. Like, you know, he just had these years where it all came together and boom, damn, 30. That kind of thing. And Ant-Man just might live there. Like SGA is right now, like Luka, like Embiid, like Jordan and Kobe back in the day, like Harden for that period. He may live there, but that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, it's hard to go up in the 3 game. You shot almost 40%. You're at 4.1 per game. You led the league in total threes made. You took 10 a game. Like that to me only comes down and evens out over time. But, you know, you love the rebounds and the assists. Huge Ant-Man guy. And the debate for Ant-Man, you know, as we move along here is, you know, him or Haliburton, him or Steph Curry. You know, with these big time guards that are up here, heck, I mean, you could maybe even, depending on if we don't get the best of news on Wemby, be like, yo, is Ant-Man number 4? Do I fade Wemby down even a little bit farther? But let's go to the next guy on our list here. Karl-Anthony Towns, 8 cat per game ranking of 8, 9 cat total ranking of 4. We got him at 5 here. And Brew, does this ranking represent Cat? And then going into next year, is this what we get again? Are you fading him or what with Karl-Anthony Towns?
As of right now, this is him. And I personally didn't catch the Cat fever enough this preseason to enjoy the benefit of this top 5 finish here. He did everything you needed him to do, I think, you know, within reason. Like, he goes from Minnesota, where he's just like kind of this goofball, kind of butt of the joke guy, can't stop fouling in playoff situations, doesn't know what a foul is, doesn't play tough, drifts out to the perimeter, into New York, and he starts making big plays. He starts making tough plays. He's playing through injury. He's kind of making the right decisions on the floor. And playoffs have been a little bit of a mixed bag, but there's been some pretty good Cat moments here. And this team doesn't really, at least at this point in time, project to be a whole lot different than next season's team. So if anything, I think they might actually try to shift some of the usage away from Jalen Brunson over to Cat to recognize that you'd probably want to balance that thing out a little bit and make it work a little bit more cleanly rather than just the Jalen Brunson show so much. So I'm pretty optimistic about Cat. I mean, some injury concerns perhaps, but overall, I think this is the ballpark of where he should be.
I was worried about him going to New York and being in the spotlight, having to deal with the fans and the pressure. Man, 24 points, 13 boards, huge improvement over his last year in Minnesota. But then again, he didn't have to play next to Rudy Gobert, and that helped a lot. Plus, he had Tom Thibodeau running him out there 35 minutes a game. Are you kidding me? Cat's going to be 30 at the start of the season. 35 minutes a night on that dude, man. That's a lot to ask for, but this is kind of who he is. As long as he's playing with 4 other guys, no bench, and Tom Thibodeau is his coach.
I agree with you guys, man. Cat is now in the running for that 5 spot with Anthony Davis, with Giannis, Cat. I mean, the Giannis Cat thing is tough, right? They're 2 totally different players when you work in, you know, the 3 ball with Cat and then Giannis, you know, not that. But yeah, he's a mid first round guy. I think this is, look, Cat was this guy at Minnesota back in the day, right? He was a mid first round guy, even with Minnesota. Recently that dipped and then went back to New York, and now he's a Tiger. You know, let out of the cage. So I think this is who we get. Doc, I had the same concerns about the environment. look, he's from New Jersey, right? So that's big. So he's like not like, oh my God, the bright lights of New York, they're so daunting. Like was he born in New Jersey or raised in New Jersey? One of the two, maybe both. But yeah, he's thrived out there, Doc. I think the pressure has brought out the best in Cat. I would like to see him get in better shape. I don't know about you guys. I feel like Cat's carrying too much weight. He looks really doughy to me, and he also looks strong. But it's knees, it's longevity. Like to me, he's got to take some weight off, man. I want to see him looking like slender and sleek next year because he's not a banger. He's a finesse big. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. But I got him as a mid-round pick next year. I did not expect regression. I expect him to just be locked in and an absolute fantasy superstar like Trae Young, who comes in at number 6 here. 8 cat per game rank of 15, 9 cat total rank of 31. 8 cat overall, like we said, at number 6. So let's go Doc on this one. Doc, would you draft this player at value? Would you be willing to go higher for Trae? Are you going to fade Trae? Take me into next year for Trae Young.
Well, going into last year, without DeJounte Murray, I thought Trae was going to blow up. Well, the fact is his scoring went down. The dimes went up a little bit. But he still had a good year. And like James Harden, he shot 41% from the floor, which is no bueno. And he turned the ball over 4.7, almost 5 times a game, dude. So there are people in roto leagues or who really care about turnovers and field goal percentage. Like, this is not their guy. I still love Trae. Yeah. He'll have Jalen Johnson, hopefully, to throw it to next year. He'll have Dyson Daniels again to play all the defense so Trae can focus on offense. I feel like his numbers should have been a little bit higher this year, and I feel like they could go there next year. If it's the end of round 1, I have no problem taking Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean, look, Trae Young had a really unique season in that he just got to go full bore, but he also got to do it with a couple pogo sticks in the lineup. So he had a ton of easy assists, and he jumped up to 11.6 in that category. He also was able to jump his free throw up to 87.5. He's got this stat set that, I've been burnt a couple times. You look at what he's capable of, and I rank him super high, kind of get the timing wrong, and he has a bad season, and he only plays 54 games. Or he shoots he had a 46% season in 2021, and then he shoots 43% the next season and completely swings the number a little bit in those roto leagues. But this team is exactly set up for him. And if they don't make any big changes, it's just sitting there for him again. And I think with the high turnover number, and he did start slow this last season. So I don't think people think Trae Young had this great season. And at the end of the day, he jumped a lot of people in the ranks. He was getting drafted again back in the back end of the first round, so maybe even sliding into the early part of the second round a little bit. To finish top 6 is an outstanding season for him, and I think he probably will be in that mix of Jayson Tatum and all the aforementioned players where you're just kind of figuring out who to get. But his situation is safe, and as long as he can stay healthy, he'll probably hit his number.
Trae Young is a late first round guy, and there's going to be a great debate. We're not going to do it today, but when you talk about Ant-Man, Haliburton, Steph Curry, Trae Young, okay, which of those guys would you rather have? Like if you're at 6 and all 4 of those guys are available, I think that's going to be a really killer conversation for us to get into. I love Trae Young as a fantasy player. I loved him back at Oklahoma. Guys, he has played in the NBA for 7 years, which is kind of weird, right? I looked that up this morning. I'm like, really? 7 years? He's 7 years in already. He has averaged 25 and 10 for 7 years, okay, with no end in sight. How many guys in the history of the NBA have averaged 25 points and 10 assists per game for the first 7 years of their career? Like, legit, who has done that? I would bet that Isaiah Thomas did not do that. I know Magic Johnson did not do that. He wasn't a 25 PPG guy. And so I'm just saying, like, he is historically phenomenal. I love drafting Trae Young. usually an availability guy, very durable, despite his small size, which was a knock coming out of college. It hasn't been a factor for him at all in the pros. Matter of fact, they changed the rules for Trae Young and James Harden, all the swerving into defenders and manufacturing fouls. Trae Young was a big part of that with his little body. Good for him, man. All right, number 7 here, guys, is Steph Curry in our 8-cat ranks. But as you kind of go a little deeper here, 8-cat per game ranking of 9, 9-cat total ranking of 7. Brew, does this ranking represent Steph Curry? And into next year, are you fading him? You drafting him at value? How are you going?
Probably not, obviously going over my skis to get him. This does represent where Steph Curry plays. And I think people think he's just some small guy just kind of doing whatever routine out there to get all these shots off. If you've ever stood next to Steph Curry, he's actually a pretty good athlete. And so for him to have both the skills package and the wiggle to keep all of these young 22, 23, 25-year-old defenders that he gets every single season on him, to keep them off of him, it's both the skills package, but it's also the athleticism. I mean, the guy just had his first hamstring injury in an entire NBA career that's longer than anybody else usually plays. That's amazing. He's in phenomenal shape. But I do think they're going to load manage him next season. They did it this season. So where does that kind of come into play? Well, in your head-to-head playoff setting format, he might not be there for your fantasy playoffs. That's a huge risk for your first-round pick. This is going to drive his value down any way you slice it. So for guys like me in Roto leagues, I probably will have a good shot at getting a Steph Curry. He probably falls to the back end of the first round, maybe even to the top end of the second round if you get a couple preseason stories that talk about load management. And at the same time, I don't think he wants to do the load management thing. He wants to be out there. So 72 games might actually get circled. And that could actually be the functional target for him this upcoming season. He played 70 in this last one. So this is his value. There's some risks there. My personal hope is that everybody gets too hot and bothered about load management, that he kind of comes back into the early part of the second round.
38 years old by the end of the season is a huge red flag for me. The fact he's injured right now in the playoffs is a little bit of a red flag. He'll be healthy by the time the season starts. And I wish he got more assists. Every time I have Steph Curry on my team, I feel like I'm going to get a ton of assists from him, but you really don't. You only get 6. But you did get 1.1 steals this year, which was way up from where he'd been the previous couple of years. So I don't see any reason why he doesn't keep it going again next year. I'm not probably messing with a 38-year-old guy in the first round, though.
Yeah, not in the first round. I liked, I think, what Bruce said about that he's hoping the load management thing slips him to the second round. And now you feel great about getting Steph Curry, right? Damn, I just got Steph Curry in the second round, and you're matching him at that point with, Giannis or Davis or, I don't know, maybe, a total badass. And then you just, I think that's the perfect way to look at Steph Curry. Like Haliburton or Curry. I mean, I probably got to go Haliburton, Edwards or Curry. I'm probably going Ant-Man. Harden or Curry, probably going Steph there, but he's in that group. But I like him more as a top half of the second round guy. That's where I feel you're getting value. If you're taking him at 7 or 8, you're not getting value. That's at value or at cost, and all the stuff that the guy said about age, and who knows, like he may just have that old man year. The one thing that I'll say, guys, about, and I've tracked this in all these sports, is the GOATs are always good. Larry Fitzgerald was good until he stopped playing. Albert Pujols was good until he stopped playing. Derek Jeter was good until he stopped playing. There's so many examples of these guys. Barry Sanders was good until he stopped. Like they were phenomenal, and they just said, all right, my time is up, and they dip out. Curry to me is that guy. I don't think he's ever going to turn into a role player like Vince Carter. Or Russell Westbrook right now. He's always going to be Steph Curry and killing it. The numbers are going to start to dip a little bit, but it's not going to be like boom. He goes from the 11th best player to the 50th best player. I just don't see it that way. And historically, There have been a lot of examples to back that up. So I will be bullish on Curry, but it's got to be at the right price next year. Brew and Doc. I'm losing my order here, so I apologize if it feels like I'm trying to, you know me, I try to go Rondo on this thing and dime both y'all. I want you guys both hitting 20 plus here
You never go full Rondo, Rick.
You're right. Full Rondo would just be like I'm a mediator and with no opinions. Like just full Rondo would be dime, 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 dime. Yeah, I got to get a couple shots in. Not quite like Kobe, though. I'm not a ball hog. Anyway, Tyrese Haliburton here at number 8. 8 cat per game ranking of 14. 9 cat total ranking of 3. Wow. Let's go. I'm feeling Brew here. Brew, you hit me with Hallie. Does this ranking represent Hallie? And into next year, are you fading him? Are you taking him at this value? What's up?
Yeah, one of the spiciest kind of fantasy discussions of the season. The first 4 weeks, people were flipping out about Tyrese Haliburton, and Tyrese was flipping out. And it sounds like he had a mental health conversation somewhere in there with whoever in Indiana, and pulled himself out of that funk. And there was also this, I would say, a major back injury that was also driving that dip. People panicked, and I don't know who out there got what in a trade, but those of you that got on that trade early on in that first month of the season, you just walloped whoever. By the way, also walloping in a trade, Indiana, in a trade for Domantas Sabonis. That trade, hear the discussion after that trade that it was a even trade for both sides, or blah, blah, blah. You had to see how it played out. And I personally didn't think there was any chance at all that trade was working out for Sacramento. Well, that's what's happened here, folks, is Tyrese Haliburton he's that good. And we're seeing it against Cleveland. And it's like that old Moneyball discussion, because it just looks funny, right? His shot looks funny. He dances around with the ball at the perimeter, and you kind of go, what the hell are you doing, Tyrese? Doesn't make much sense. But he's basically got the ability to dribble with both hands at a very high level. He's got a ton of length. He's actually got a pretty good first step. He squares up his defender, and he kind of dances left and right until they pick a lane. The minute they pick a lane, he picks the other lane. And he's got so many outs on his way to the hoop with all the different angles he sees with the passes and the jump passes. He just is playing with the game right now. And he's going to keep doing that until something in the NBA changes with how the game gets played. And his style of play is going to develop fantasy rankings like this. So he is this guy. It's just going to get better. It's just kind of a question of what Indiana does in the offseason and how things morph from here. But this is his baseline, folks.
After he won game 1 and 2 in the playoffs, he backed that up with a 2 of 8 4-point for performance in a loss to the Cavs, which had my Indy friends texting me and being like, what's wrong with Tyrese? One of my friends spelled his last name with 2 L's, and I said, if you're going to be that hard on the guy, at least spell his name right. And he goes, he deserves the extra L after that performance, which I thought was pretty clever. And then he came back in that abomination on Sunday and only had 11 points and 5 assists, but he only played 26 minutes, and the Pacers were up by like 75 points. At one point, it felt like. If you look at Haliburton's game log from this season, there are a couple outliers there where he had like 0 points or 2 points, or just took the night off. And it happens randomly with him. But when you add it all together and look at his entire season, and then you look at these Reggie Miller clutch late game performances that he's had, not only in the playoffs, but throughout the season, Haliburton is everything that we thought he was going to be 2 or 3 years ago. And I love him. And he's a first-round player to me.
I agree. He's in that back half of the first round soup that we're talking about right now with Curry, with Edwards, to a degree with Steph. What I want to see from Haliburton next year, guys, is an even season, not uneven like this one. First half of the season, pre-All-Star, he was at 18 points, 8.5 dimes. I mean, it's solid, but that's not first round. After the All-Star game, 20.6 points, so up like 3 points per game. and up to 11 assists. To go from 8.5 assists to 11 assists is ridiculous. Kind of doesn't make sense because that's 3.5 plus, actually 2.5 plus. That's just a gigantic jump. So I'm looking for Haliburton to put two halves together, and then guess what happens, guys? MVP candidate.
Ooh,
Then he becomes an MVP candidate. But when you stink relative to your standards, right? And then you apex it, you missed it. And I'm talking about the fringe. Like I think Cade Cunningham could sniff the MVP fringe next year. And I think Haliburton could sniff the MVP fringe. I think Anthony Edwards could sniff the MVP fringe next year. And who knows, with banner years, maybe these guys could fully break through. But again, great debate. Trae Young, James Harden, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Haliburton. Like, okay, all off season. Just think about that. Because outside of Shai and out of Luka, bam, that's your next group of guards. Hey, and I didn't even mention this guy who might need to be added to that group. And Doc, I'll start with you on that tip. It's Cade Cunningham at number 9, 8 cat per game ranking of 11, 9 cat total ranking of 27. Does this ranking represent Cade? And then going into next year, are you drafting up? Are you fading? Where are you at?
You actually just mentioned Cade Cunningham in your last little Rick's rant about 30 seconds ago. Yeah. You said Cade Cunningham might be an MVP candidate. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because he's the next guy we're talking about. And I wanted to kick it back to you and let you go first on this because I feel like you're the chairman of the Cade Cunningham board. But I will just say this, and then I will defer my time to the gentleman from Minnesota the rest of my time. I was never a Cade Cunningham believer. And this year I kind of changed my opinion and my mind about that. And I was like, I'm going to check Cade out. Detroit was fun. Detroit was good. Cade was fun. Cade was good. Cade was healthy. He looks like a double-double machine and a once-a-week triple-double guy, which that is counting stats, music to our ears. So I'm down with Cade. I'm good with him. I will draft him next year. I think he's a late first-round guy because it's only going to get better from here.
I'll make it quick, Brew, since he set me up. What I'm struggling with right now is Cade Cunningham, a first-round pick. Second round all day. I'm kind of feeling, Brew, like the Steph Curry thing. Like, if I get Cade in the first round, if I get him at 8, like, it's a solid pick, but I don't feel like I'm winning with that. I don't know, Trae Young and Hallie with the ridiculous assist total where you're just well on your way to winning that category by drafting that guy. Cade Cunningham doesn't do that for you in any one statistic. He's just got a really, really solid stat line with room for growth. So Brew, I'm like, does this ranking represent Cade? Kinda, but for me, I'd rather assess some value in the second round. And if he goes 8, 9, 10, 11 in drafts, that's appropriately drafted, but I'm not butthurt. Oh man, I missed out on Cade, right? Because that would be a few spots. So and obviously I'm a big Cade guy. I have been going back to Oklahoma State. I called him a Grant Hill clone back at that time, and I loved that this past year we got the Oklahoma State version of Cade Cunningham in terms of the rebounds, assists, and point combination. But Brew, how are you feeling about Cade?
I feel pretty good about Cade. I think I hate to do this, and punt on the analysis, but it really, what does Detroit want to do with this? They got a ton of momentum heading in the next season out of this season. Right now, everything's set up to go Cade left, Cade right. There's really, and when Jaden Ivey got injured, I said this a few times and really did indeed feel like this would actually be a good thing for the Detroit Pistons. Not because I don't like Jaden Ivey, the player. I really do like Jaden Ivey, the player, but it's so simplified what they wanted to do on a night-to-night basis. You had Cade left, Cade right. You had all your shooters around them. You had your Jalen Duren types, even hell, Asar Thompson. You know what Asar Thompson is going to do when he's on the floor. So it's so simple for these guys to figure out on a night-to-night basis how they were going to play, and that results in Cade Cunningham with this rank. So this is about as good as it gets from a deployment standpoint. So they go try to get Cade help. Does Jaden Ivey come back and it kind of mixes things up and he's just not at this peak, productive efficiency. I do think there's room for him to improve. If it stayed all the same and we make those improvements, Cade then becomes possibly a top 6, top 7 guy. That's pretty good, but I do think people will, in this specific format, because if it's a 9-cat discussion, whether it's him or Trae, the numbers go south. It's not as productive. You're not in a roto setting, especially, going to forgive those turnovers. But if you were in a 9-cat format, well, you better forgive those turnovers because you're never coming back from it. So I think Cade's in a good spot. Talk to me in about a month. Totes McOats.
Oh, Doc, you already went on Cade. Okay, I thought we were binging back over to you. All right, Doc, I am coming to you here. With a fastball named Jayson Tatum. That's Doc's guy. 8-cat per. See, we're ball busters around here. I got to go to Tatum now. There was a text thing with me and Doc and Brew, and it was not savory on the Jayson Tatum side, at least from, anyway. 8-cat per game ranking of 13, 9-cat total rank. You can't tell them, you can't take them completely behind backstage. You can't show them everything, okay? 9-cat total ranking of 10 and 10th overall 8-cat. So Doc, this is your guy. Does this ranking represent Tatum? And then take me into next year. Are you fading Jayson Tatum?
He's not my guy. I heard that he yelled Kobe as he threw up that ball right into Mikal Bridges' palm as they went into a 2-0 hole against a team everybody except me said they were going to destroy. Now they may not even get past the Knicks in these playoffs, and they're led by Jayson Tatum. You can't win a fantasy championship if your first pick is Jayson Tatum. I just don't think you can. And I'm sure somebody has done it, right? Like, just like somebody has won a roto league with taking a 0 or a 1 in a category. Somebody has had Tatum on their team and gotten a dub. But it's not easy, man. 27 points, 9 boards, 6 assists. 0.5 blocks, 1 steal, a bunch of threes. Like, he just doesn't get the fantasy gold that you need from your guy. I'm just not a Tatum guy. I will not be drafting him ever. I will. I've never had him on a team, and I never will.
Wow. Okay. I'm just pissed that Doc's the guy that doesn't like Jayson Tatum because I don't like him even more, but I don't get the credit for it.
Oh, come on.
And this, I think that the judges are biased, but Tatum. Was that true about the Kobe thing? Because I wouldn't doubt it if
I just looked it up. I think it's folklore. I saw nothing about that. He passed Kobe like some scoring milestone in the playoffs or something.
Okay,
that's all I saw.
It's just I think in the playoffs they don't call that.
Were the "You're Not Kobe" shirts real?
Probably,
because I think New York. I don't know, man. You can't tell what's real and what's not real anymore on the freaking internet. It's driving me nuts.
Doc's all jammed up with AI.
Go ahead. I'll do some research on that.
You do your own research over there, Doc. I mean, in the playoffs, all that stupid arm stuff, the James Harden, like, put the ball down towards your foot and then bring your arms up crashing into the guy so you can get to the foul line. And defenders are like petrified of having their hands on a player. That goes out the window in the playoffs. This is why Jayson Tatum's choked every single year in the playoffs, except for when he has a freaking all-star team surrounding him, which was last season. And it could happen again this season. They are that good in Boston, and he is legitimately a good basketball player. It just, those are the reasons why he relies on the step back shot in all of those key situations. He knows he can't shake the guy left. He can't shake the guy right. He's going to have to, they're not going to call foul in that situation. So he has to go to what he knows he can get to, which is those shots. We've seen it time and time again. That's why Miami used to whoop the crap out of him all those years. Tatum started off as a top 5 guy in fantasy this season and then slid back down to his natural resting place of 9. And that's where he will be the rest of the next 3 years.
Brew, I will never sleep on your disdain for Jayson Tatum again. It will never, ever happen again. It won't. Somebody around here has got to take up for Jayson Tatum, and I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with a lot of the stuff you guys are saying. Not necessarily in reality. I think Tatum's a better reality. I have a better perception of him in reality than I think you guys do, but I look at him as a winner, a champion, and always did. 5 or 6 years before he won that championship, I said on NBA radio, he's going to win a championship. So am I a huge Tatum guy? No, but I am a Tatum guy. Like, I'm a huge Brunson guy. Like, that's my guy. Tatum's not one of my guys like that. Jaylen Brown's one of my guys like that. But I appreciate Tatum. I respect Tatum. And I think he's probably the most disrespected superstar in the NBA. And I think we've gotten a lot of that here on the fantasy NBA.
Honestly,
today.
It might actually be better if his camp wasn't so damn good at their job. His camp has made him into a top tier superstar, like a top 5 superstar, and then he just doesn't meet that level. And then I think there's a little bit of blowback from that.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. For me, it's you won a championship, man, and you were a heavy hitter for that. Arguably the Finals MVP. I'm not mad that Jaylen Brown got it, but that wasn't like a lay down deal. That was a very close call. Jaylen Brown's defense on Luka is why he won Finals MVP over Jayson Tatum. It was that side of the ball. But Tatum, to me, guys, I'm not taking him late first round, because if you like boil all of the sarcasm out, there's a lot of truth with what Doc is saying. I would rather have Haliburton with the difference-making assists, Trae Young with the difference-making assists, maybe an Anthony Edwards with the 4 3-balls per game. Tatum is just not special at any statistical category. He's very, very solid across the board. I mean, Doc said the PRA, the guy kind of flirted with a triple-double, right? The PRA was amazing. The fantasy goal's a little light. And so that's why I go with the guys that are just really special in a particular category, late first round. If I can get Tatum in the second round, like with the 15th pick, yeah, I'm all about, because I love getting forwards early. So I would bank Tatum in the second round for sure, but I'm not taking him in the first round. Let's move to LeBron James. We got 2 players to go here. It's the top 12. 8 cat, okay? And then I'm giving you some other details here. 8 cat per game ranking of 12 for LeBron James. 9 cat total ranking of 22. Brew, does this ranking represent LeBron James? And are you fading him next year? He'll be like 50 years old or something like that. So talk to me, Brew.
Yeah, no, this does not represent his rank next year. And yes, I'm fading him. And could he have a good season? Sure, why not? Could it be a little bit of a Kobe-esque, retirement, trip around the NBA?
Sure.
But yeah, thank you. And I re-aggravated my brain muscle there. I knew that would get you, Doc. There's so many ways to fall apart.
You just re-aggravated me.
I do. I would. Yeah, no. I would like to see LeBron slip to the 3rd or 4th round, and then I'll talk to you guys.
Dude, his season stat line is so long you have to scroll like 3 pages to look at it. He's gonna be 41 right after Christmas next year. We fade him every year, we doubt him every year. Oh, he's gonna get hurt, oh, he's too old, blah blah blah. And he just keeps balling. He's still one of the best players out there. I'm not messing with LeBron in the first round, but after that, especially depending on who I get with my first pick. With his free throw shooting and his I'm not really a LeBron guy anymore, but I could see me drafting LeBron in the second round.
Here's what.
Not all I got.
All right. What I found with guys like LeBron, especially when they get this old, and it's like every year, it's like a year-to-year thing, is people fade him. They get scared. They're it's too old, and they just want to take a younger guy. I could see LeBron James falling into the 3rd round, guys. And at that point, bam. Like, I mean, second round for me, I'm not taking him over Trae Young. If I'm at 12-team league, Trae Young falls to 14 somehow, I'm taking Trae Young over LeBron. I think Jayson Tatum versus LeBron James is a pretty damn good debate. Okay, because if you're going for a forward, right? LeBron, Tatum, I really want a forward here. Okay, well then Tatum's stat line looked a lot like LeBron James' stat line last year, and Tatum plays every game every year, and LeBron James' attendance has been great the last 2 years, 70 and 71, but there is a pretty major injury risk with him, I would say. Dealt with the groin injury this year that probably would have kept him out of more games had it been at a different time of the year. So thinking about LeBron in round 2, loving him in round 3, it's a hell no in round 1. So I don't think that this ranking is representative of LeBron. And I say that with love and all due respect. Number 12 is the most talked about player in fantasy basketball. Can you guys guess who number 12 is based on that introduction?
Never. I have no idea.
Dyson Daniels, the most talked about guy in fantasy basketball. We cannot make it through an episode. It was like, Doc, a lot of the shows we did were with Filipowski and Bruce guy Keon Ellis. And who was your guy that every single show you brought up? I can't remember right now, but I was the Filipowski guy after Brew turned me on to him. Brew, you were clearly the Keon Ellis guy. Doc, who was your guy? Brew, do you remember who Doc's guy was?
Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey. Well, a little bit of Damian Baugh, too.
That's who it was. Damian Baugh.
Damn.
A little bit of Damian Baugh.
A little bit of Danny Schneeman.
Damian Baugh's not even in the L anymore, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No, okay, so Dyson Daniels here, guys. Doc, you go first. Is this ranking representative? And I got to give you all the ranking on this. He 12th overall 8-cat per game rank 21, 9-cat total ranking of 8. So, Doc, is this representative of him? And are you fading him next year? He said with a smile.
Real quick, LeBron went 24th last year in my most competitive Yahoo league. Me and all the rock stars. Like, he was going late second round last year. I think LeBron easily falls into round 3. This coming draft.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just going to throw that out there. I think he'll be there in round 3, and I think that's when you
think
about taking him.
Yeah, he won't be at the end of round 3, but I think he'll be in round 3. Would you agree with that? I don't think you can wait all the way to the end of the round.
Yeah. So anyway, he wasn't going first round last year. He was barely going in the second round last year. So this year, I think he's going to clearly be round 3. Dyson Daniels, I think the three of us are probably all of differing opinion here as of May 12th, whatever day it is right now. I love Dyson Daniels. I love the fact he finished in the top 12. I think he's going to have another great year last year. Unlike Jayson Tatum, he does have a specialty that is steals. He can do other stuff. He proved to be a decent scorer. So I'm thinking I'm going to be looking at Dyson sometime in round 2 or 3. And I have a feeling Brew's looking at him sometime in 3 or 4. And I have a feeling Rick's looking at him sometime in 4 and 5. But I'm going to let you guys throw that out there. Is he going to be overdrafted? Probably. And is the hype train going to probably continue to grow as the next season approaches? Probably. So there's danger. There's red flags everywhere with Dyson Daniels. But I love the kid.
Yeah, there's so much on this topic that I'll shift it back to LeBron James. LeBron went in about the mid 20s and kind of faded back to the back end of the 20s in a lot of competitive drafts that I was in. I was able to actually pick him up and have a great season as a result of LeBron James. So I actually don't want to just be dismissive about his value. And the same thing could happen again. And we could be talking about Luka Ball next year as well. There could be a big focus on, we got to get Luka Doncic going, and it might be at the expense of LeBron James. So that's the end of the LeBron James stuff. Dyson Daniels. Okay, first of all, head-to-head versus Roto is a really big deal here. 3 steals a game. There's a lot of variance potential there for that number. So that's its own issue within either of those formats, but you're getting all your value in one stat category. I mean, how bad can you beat the other guy in steals is really what this boils down to. And then the rest of the stat line gets a little bit mortal after that. I think Dyson Daniels has so many more levels that he can go as a basketball player because he has first step potential. He has the ability to fend off the defender with that big body. He's nowhere close to his dribbling potential. He's nowhere close to his shooting potential. All of these things are going to improve. I am very concerned about 59% from the foul line. Foul shooting is an indicator of the ability to make shots at the NBA level. It just is. I mean, look at Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook used to be a good foul shooter. Then he got really bad at foul shooting. And now he's a guy that you really don't want taking shots at any point in time in a basketball game unless his feet are set and he's in the corner. So Dyson Daniels, I mean, this thing could go all over the place. But if you are in a roto setting and those 3 steals are like gold to you, you're looking at Dyson Daniels at minimum in the second round. Third and fourth round, it gets really, really good. But I think the question that will be on most GM's minds, and also, mind you, there's a big Australian contingent in fantasy basketball that loves Dyson Daniels. I think there's going to be so much hype on Dyson Daniels in this upcoming season. It's going to be a referendum of if people think the steals category is too overvalued or not. But Dyson Daniels will probably go at least in the third round, if not in the second round. And that might just be a little too spicy for my blood.
Guys, when somebody has an act of God season, I fade them every time. Asia Wilson coming off a 27-point per game season in the WNBA. Never been done before. Nobody's ever been that high in the W. I'm going to fade her this year because of that. It's not an Asia thing. It's a historical stat thing. There's no guarantee that Dyson Daniels is, and by the way, we talked about that on the WNBA show with Rick Kamla, the Fantasy WNBA today. It'll be out on the website, on all of our Twitter feeds, and all that kind of stuff very, very soon. Psych. The season starts on Friday. Doc and Brew are in drafts. We're all in drafts together. It's a whole thing. 3 steals is an act of God season. So I got to fade you. And there's no guarantee that he's going to go 3 steals again. And I loved what you said, Brew, about be wary of a guy who shoots up the standings based on one category, and a category that does have variance to it. Because if he's at 2.2 steals, and even if he's at 14, 6, and 4, you are not happy with your decision to draft Dyson Daniels. I will not have him on any of my teams next year. And he's not on the dead to me list. He is not on the dead to me list. Zion and Morant and all those guys, they're on the dead to me list. He's not. People are going to draft him at a point where I'm not comfortable drafting him. So Doc probably said it right in terms of stacking the rounds like that. Honestly, guys, would I take Dyson Daniels in round 4? Probably not. There's probably going to be guys that are more special in the rebound category, more special in the assist category, giving me a more total line than the Dyson Daniels spike up in the steal. Again, we talk, and I'll just make this point, we can move on. I'm always looking for steals. Steals are not a part-time job for me. I'm not like, oh, I just took a steal guy, I'm good for the next 5 rounds. I'm always looking for steals with every single decision that I make. So I don't have to go get a Dyson Daniels at 3 steals. I'm always looking for steals. Okay, are you guys ready to move on to a little playoff talk? Go ahead, Doc.
Are we going to do that, or are we wrapping it up? I just looked at the 30 deep draft from last year. LeBron went 22. Steph Curry went 23. Karl-Anthony Towns went 24. I thought that
Dang.
Well,
I tell you what, do you guys want to get right to the betting? You guys want to fast track to the betting here and get us moving here a little bit?
I think you guys, Rick, you would love it if I complained about Jimmy Butler a little bit.
Yeah, hit me.
Let's go. Okay, Jimmy, you have to take open shot. You have to take all the shots. You can't pass up any shots. You have Draymond Green on your team. You're playing Kevon Looney a ton of minutes. Like, you have to take all of the shots. Shout out to Buddy Hield for being a baller and bringing defense that nobody thought you had and being willing to take big shots. Brandon Pajemski, I think he's shown us more rather than showing us less in these postseason games. But this game here in Golden State here tonight, this is their last chance before what would be a really tough spot with Steph Curry. If Steph Curry comes back for a game 5 in Minnesota, that's a must win. You're asking so much of a guy and you're tilting the entire playing field. in a must-win game on the road against a very good team. I just think this is their spot. They're going to throw everything they have at it. But Jimmy Butler has to be a point guard and a scorer and an alpha and omega, everything in between. And Draymond Green, aside from all the other things you've done in this series that have been deplorable, this 5-minute to 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, you literally took all of the momentum and you handed it to Minnesota, and then you fouled out of the game shortly after that. You have to take all of the shots that are available to you. You have to play defense the right way. You have to, not do the refs thing. And we'll theoretically see that all tonight in this game. And I will take the Golden State +5 line in that matchup. And Knicks and Celtics, I'll let Steve go. Steve, you got the read on that series.
I have a question. Do the winners of tonight's games win the series? The Knicks are up 2-1. They're at home. And the Warriors are down 2-1. They are at home.
I say yes and no. I think the winner of the New York-Boston game wins the series. But if Golden State wins tonight, I'm still going to think Minnesota's going to win that series.
Okay.
Yeah, right. It's really tough. I loaded up on Minnesota futures in the playoff betting journal the minute Steph's hamstring injury came to light. And what it's really allowed them to do is play confidently and start kind of work some things out. And to the Julius Randle stuff, he has played extraordinarily well, and that makes them dangerous, in Minnesota. It's like they're a good basketball team with him being sort of a middle of the road player. When he's amping up his game the way that he has been, they are really, really dangerous. And Oklahoma City, if they get past Denver, it's not just a guarantee that they go past Minnesota to get to the finals. So, I do think that whoever wins tonight in the Boston-New York game, they will win the series. And then, like you said, Rick, I don't think that Golden State is a given if they win tonight by any means.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks. Go Pacers. That's all I care about at this point. And go Oklahoma City. But yeah, tonight's going to be fun. Celtics, Knicks, Timberwolves, and Warriors. Rick, I've got the Knicks +6.5, and I've got Golden State +5.5. What say you?
Very interesting. All right, so I'll give you a quick take on these series, and then I'll just dive right into the ATS.
Oh yeah.
Well, did you? No, you said your ATS, and so did Brew. Brew, yes. Are you ATSing on New York and Boston? We did not get that pick from you.
No, I think block betting the home teams that are in a must-win situation to me makes some sense here when they're dogs. I'm going to go New York +6 here. Boston did the thing where they do everything that they normally do and that it looks the way that it looks. Both of the big guns, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, were inefficient in the last game. I am concerned about a Karl-Anthony Towns hand injury, whatever's going on with that. But I think that's probably overblown, overstated, whatever it is just whatever it's going to be. Those two guys, if they play anything better than they did in this last game, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Boston with no Kristaps Porzingis. They're still great, but they're not that unbeatable kind of a team when he's playing and playing well. At home with the crowd rocking and rolling, for them to lose 2 straight, to me, seems a little tiny bit unlikely, at least in terms of keeping the game close. So I'll take those points and run.
My concern for New York, I'm smelling a bad cat game. I think it was game 6 against Detroit, where he had a double-double, but he was in foul trouble and just frankly kind of sucked. Based on, how he's played all year and how talented he is, and he says he's the best shooting big of all time, blah, blah, blah. I feel like we're going to get a big-time letdown game. Foul trouble, a bad shooting night, something. I just feel it, guys. And so I have actually, let me see here. I'm actually, this is a live betting one for me. If you push me against, make a pick. All right, I'm taking the Knicks plus the points because they're coming off of a loss. It's not about being at home. They suck at home. Boston sucks at home. Boston's amazing on the road. New York is 5-0 on the road in these playoffs, guys. I don't know if you even have done the math on that. 5-0 on the road. But they suck at home. They're 1-3 at home. But I got to take the points here. I do think Boston's winning this game. That's why I'm in live betting mode on this one. I got to make a pick pregame. I'm taking the points with New York, but it's only because I think they'll live inside a winning number by Boston. And also giving Brunson 6.5 points is kind of a nice little angle. Minnesota minus 5.5 tonight, guys. I will take Minnesota. I think they're going to go in for the kill tonight. And you had Kuminga with a 30-point game. You had Jimmy Butler with a 36-point game with goodies. I don't think that's happening again. Podziemski's going to play better, and Draymond is going to play better. But is that going to mitigate the drops that I see in Butler and Kuminga? I don't think so. Ant-Man and Randall were the only two guys really cooking for Minnesota. Okay, I think the others are going to get involved now. The Dantes, the McDaniels, guys like that. I fear that Ant-Man I need him to stay in Kobe mode, and I'm not sure that he will. Okay, that's my one thing with Ant-Man. You got to turn that on and leave that on, bro. Leave that button on. Okay, don't toggle with the Kobe Jordan button. Just leave it on. And if that's on tonight, Minnesota's going to win this game by 15 points. I just don't know that that's going to be on, but I do feel good about the others here tonight for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So let's get to some prop bets, and we'll say goodbye to the people. Brew, are you abstaining from the props once again?
Abstinence is the 100% of the solution or something, said the guidance counselor.
Doc, who are your props, dude?
I initially had Cat written down for a big game, but I'm kind of with you, man. Either the Knicks are going to play really well tonight and basically end this series, or Boston's going to break them and all the momentum is going to be going Boston's way. And I think there's a better chance of this working out in Boston's favor, even though I want it to work out in the Knicks' favor. I've got Derek White over 16.5 points. I've got Peyton Pritchard over 1.5 triples. He's been killing in almost every game. I don't know why he wouldn't do it again tonight. I've got Jaden McDaniels over 12.5 points. I feel like he needs to have a good game if Minnesota's going to win. And then the late one, I've got Draymond Green over 8.5 points.
Good calls, man. I like those. So in the New York and Boston game, I'm focused on the heavy hitters because we know what's going on. Jalen Brunson's going to score 30 points because he does.
However he gets there.
He's going to score 30 tonight. So I'll go over on 27.5, even though it's like a high number and all that. I'm going to go over on Tatum at 27.5 and Jaylen Brown at 22.5. They're both not going under. I think they're both going to go over, and it's at least a split. I like when I like, like playing a Durant and Booker and doing it together. They're both not going to suck. That's an extremely rare situation, and you're probably going to get over on both. And I got an OG Anunoby vibe. He sucked in game 3. The numbers dipped down to 14.5. He's been cooking at a nice like high teen level. So I like OG at over 14. And then, like I said, guys, I'm monetizing the Minnesota other vibe. McDaniels over 12.5 points. Naz Reid over 11.5 points. Rudy Gobert over 8.5 points. And then Dante DiVincenzo over 8.5 points. And I'm playing all 4 of them as, a hedge. Like, I think this is 3-1 to me. I look at that. Okay, maybe Dante doesn't fire tonight. Those other 3 guys are going to fire. These numbers are small. They are all coming out of like games. And so I see a little upward thing here. And then Kuminga. Guys, it's an act of God. Kuminga scored 30. That's an act of God game. I have to fade him. I have to. So his number's 17.5. And, 2 mistakes. It's like fumbling for a Bill Belichick team. 2 mistakes, and you're on the bench. And your ass is planted, okay? Because Kerr has no patience for Kuminga. So I'm going under on 17.5 for Jonathan Kuminga. That's it. Brew, anything you want to tout? Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here, man?
NFL draft guide on the way in the next couple weeks here. MLB Fantasy Pass. These guys are working their asses off, so go check out their work. And soon enough, we will be into NBA season, so keep an eye out for NBA Fantasy Pass stuff, NBA draft. free agency, and a website overhaul with brand new tools are on the way.
Nice. Spectacular. Anything you want to say, Doc, before we get out of here?
We all have a WNBA draft on Tuesday night, and I can't wait to see how that goes because I've never done it before. As I told you guys before, I'm not studying. I'm just going in blind. I'm going to raw dog it.
With my rankings or without my rankings?
I don't have a printer, but I may have them pulled up on my second screen.
Do not let Kelsey Plum fall to me. I will be taking Kelsey Plum.
Just
know that. Just know that, Rick.
I understand. I understand. It's all going to come down to draft order because I'm big on Kelsey Plum this year. And because now I'm competing against you guys, I'm going to
not say anything. Yeah, exactly.
All my cards back here right now. No, I'm kidding. I'll give you guys all the goods that you want. And so we're psyched. Guys, we have also a league on Wednesday. All right. Hit up Andre on DM at ANDMLEMOS, or easier, support@sportsethos.com. Support@sportsethos.com. That'll go to Andre as well, and he will get you in this league that we're doing on Wednesday. It's a community thing. It's us. It's you guys. We're all coming together and playing the W. Check out my WNBA show that hit. We went live at 10 a.m. Earlier today, and it'll be out. And then I've got an article with my rankings out at sportsethos.com. We got you for the WNBA. We're psyched about it over here, and we love it, and we're looking forward to a banner season. I will be back on with these guys next week. They will be on tomorrow with another episode and continuing our series of they'll be looking at 13 through 24 on tomorrow's show. So for Brew, for Andre, for Doc, all of you, we love you, man. We are out. I am Rick Kamla, and this episode's been brought to you by Bet Online.